Are there aspects to your day that you feel as if you're just, checking the box? Do you ever strive to reach out of your comfort zone, become uncomfortable, and level up? Privileged to be your host, this is Jason Wabick. Now, let's uncheck the box. A great day to everybody out there. Once again, this is Jason Wabick, host of the Uncheck the Box podcast, where today we continue our journey together in the quest of being the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. Today we're breaking down emotions in something that's specifically titled emotional regulation. I'll tell you, this topic kind of fell into my lap, and I'll be transparent with you. It's something that I wanted to know more about. I started doing some research, and I'm going to, over the course of the next handful of minutes, paraphrase some of the research that I found, giving credit where credit's due. And I can also say to you that I've just started to scratch the surface on this absolutely fascinating topic of emotional regulation. So sometimes as I'm navigating my day and I pop in and out of different podcasts or articles, a future topic pops into my lap, or should I say falls into my lap. And that is what happened with this one. Super intriguing. And so I guess we'll start out by simply defining what is an emotion. And I'll paraphrase here from an article that I was reading. Emotions are physical, biological states within our nervous system. Emotions have energy that need to be released through expression or appropriate action. When we suppress our emotions, our body uses unhealthy habits, i.e., holding our breath, constricting our muscles, etc., to keep them at bay. This can result in physical and emotional complications such as problems in our digestive system, reproductive, or immune systems, and or anxiety or depression. Before we discuss emotional regulation, it's worthwhile to explore the function of emotions. Primarily, emotions serve to give you information. They tell you something about what is going on with you and the world around you, which helps you know what action to take. This is why it's so important to pay attention to our emotions versus shutting them down. Boy, I'll tell you what, that hits completely home. I've found myself in many situations that I got caught up in emotion. I was having a conversation just last week with a coworker of mine, and I reminded this, or should I say I told this specific coworker that this is something that I constantly have to battle every single day and be cognizant of. I'm a very passionate person, and I admit to everybody on this mic that what is my greatest strength could be my greatest weakness as well. Being charismatic is great. Being passionate, being persistent, being excitable. You know, I guess a cliche saying would be, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. You know where you stand, things like that. But it also could be a negative. Why? Because I constantly struggle with reacting to my emotion. And sometimes it can be negative. I catch myself in times of feeling an emotion of anger, for example, and reacting to the anger. Kind of like that article had said, that the energy that builds up has to come out. Well, I do let it out, especially when I'm excited and I'm standing up in front of people, conducting a training seminar or workshop, and I let that passion, the enthusiasm, the excitement come out. Well, again, from a negative perspective, I find myself in situations in which I react versus process. So that's why I guess this topic of this this title of emotional regulation was very intriguing to me because it's something that I've recognized some time ago, that it's something that I could always try to keep in check and better myself with. So what is emotional regulation? I was reading another article, this was psychologytoday.com, and a definition of emotional regulation is, it refers to the process by which individuals influence which emotions they have, when they have them, and how they experience and express their feelings. Emotional regulation can be automatic or controlled, conscious or unconscious, and may have effects at one or more points in the emotional producing process. So things we have to understand, a couple bullet points. The definition includes both positive and negative feelings. We just talked about that. I was transparent with you that I have to be aware of my emotions, both positive and negative. That my greatest strengths could be my greatest weakness. It's all about pausing between feeling and reactions. Slow down for a bit and act objectively. I remember I was given a book, Play to Win, and that book talked about taking a step back, process what's going on, and then react. Then make a conscious decision to react based off of your analysis, your processing of your feelings and what took place. We might deviate from our core values if we react to the negative. We have to understand that, my friends. We believe at our core a certain set of values. And if we react too quickly, we could be deviating from what it is we believe. We gain the power to stay calm under pressure and prevent ourselves from acting against these core values. So what are a couple useful tips that can help us in this regulation process? Well, number one, probably most important, is to be aware. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? Or which emotion am I feeling, should I say? Feel free to explore your emotions. They are biological, my friends. We talked about that just a couple minutes ago. There is nothing that we can do to not feel emotions. It is biological. They are there. It is our choice to whether or not we actually feel them or we suppress them. And like we just stated, it is healthier if we deal with them and we embrace our wide range of emotions that we feel. Name your emotions, but don't act or judge. Just complete the awareness of the emotions being consumed by you at that present moment. And that is half the battle. Just understanding that, again, you're going to feel emotions, both positive and negative. Just be aware and be in the moment. Be mindful, if you will. Then, number two, validate it. They are present for a valid reason. They are meant to be there. You are meant to experience that emotion. So now, where are you going to go from there? You're going to go through a series of various different things that will help you reduce vulnerability. There are different techniques that you can use through breathing and relaxation techniques, positive affirmations, gratitude journaling. You know, self-care, for example, is something that can help for the long term. Regular exercise is one of those self-care items that can help you. Meditation is another one. But all of these items that I just mentioned will reduce your vulnerability. It would allow you to experience clarity, if you will, to be able to process how it is you're going to handle and deal with this emotion. But you have to validate it. It's there. You are meant to experience it. Now, what are you going to do with it? When your emotion is intense, This is one technique I was reading up on. Pretty interesting. When your emotion is intense, try the opposite action. Every emotion has an action urge. Change the emotion by acting opposite to its action urge. So, for example, fear is an emotion. Approach. Expose yourself to or do what you are afraid of. I've oftentimes said this on this podcast. The thing you don't want to be doing is probably the thing you should be doing. But when we act out of fear and we submit to fear, we stop doing those things. So do the opposite. Expose yourself to more of it. Because the more you do, the less fearful you become. And I might add, you might hear some children in the background. This is real life, my friends. They decided they wanted to come downstairs and play, and I'm like, you know what? I'm recording, but it doesn't matter. This is my life. I got 4 crazy kids. There is feet of snow outside, and there's no better sound in the world than the sound of children. So hopefully you all don't mind. It is real life, my friends. Any rate, back to the show. Another emotion, anger. Protect your boundaries and stand up for yourself assertively. Walk away from those who are threatening. Find empathy or compassion for the other person. Take a break from those you want to attack. Boy, that just hits home. We get anger. That anger emotion is so strong, and it just grabs hold of you. So how about taking a step back and just look at it from an empathetic, compassion standpoint? Find love for that other person that you might be feeling anger towards, and watch how that just might suppress that feeling. How about the emotion of disgust? Avoid or push away harmful people or things. Imagine understanding a person who has done harmful things to you. Another one, jealousy. Protect what you have. It's not about what you don't have. It's about what you physically or spiritually have right now. Are we grateful for what we have? Versus falling submissive to jealousy and wishing we had everything we don't. Then we have sadness in the grieving process. Approach versus avoid the situation you feel sadness around. How many times do we do that? We just avoid it. How about just we address it and we approach it? Shame. Practice self-compassion. Apologize and repair the harm. Accept the consequences of your actions. Forgive yourself and let it go. If it doesn't fit the facts, then participate fully in social interactions. And the last example for today is guilt. Seek forgiveness, repair the harm, accept the consequences, repair the transgression, and make sure it doesn't happen again. Repeat acting opposite to your action urges until your emotions change. So I thought that was pretty neat. Again, a couple snippets from a few of the articles I was reading. Dealing with these emotions, it's tough. One thing that kind of came up in multiple articles I was reading is this natural, I should say, biological reaction that is our fight or flight. So our emotions are tied to that portion of the brain, which is actually a good thing, because if we're fighting for our life or we're in a situation in which we need to be life-saving, then our reaction needs this fight or flight. But unfortunately, it's tapped into multiple times when it is not life or death. And that's where regulating our emotions will be long-term much more beneficial. Again, everybody, there's nothing we can do about it. We are biological human beings. We were wired this way, and we do have the ability to consciously make a decision as to how we are going to deal with our emotions and how we are going to react to situations. So let's be good executors of this. Be aware, be mindful, validate it, welcome the emotions, appreciate them, be grateful for them, and reduce your vulnerability to falling victim of them. Listen, everybody, I appreciate you taking a couple moments. This just might have to be another part 2 episode at some point in the future. There is just so much awesome information tied into regulating our emotions. And so I appreciate you tuning in this week. Thank you for taking just a couple moments to listen to what I found in my research on this. But super fascinating stuff, and more to come on this at some point, I am for sure. Listen, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, a phenomenal rest of your week, and we will see you back here next time. Appreciate you, everybody. Take care.